Hello everyone, and welcome back to Chill English Channel, your calm place to improve English through deep and natural conversations. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Jake. We're really happy you're here with us today. How are you feeling, Sophia?
Honestly, a little thoughtful today.
Thoughtful sounds interesting.
I think today's topic naturally makes people reflect on themselves more deeply.
I agree completely, because today we're talking about confidence.
Not fake confidence.
Not loud confidence.
And definitely not the just believe in yourself kind of advice people post online.
Exactly. We're talking about real confidence, the kind people need in everyday life.
Like speaking during meetings.
Starting conversations.
Asking questions.
Or speaking English when you're afraid of making mistakes.
That one feels very familiar for many listeners.
Definitely. A lot of people think confidence means never feeling nervous.
But honestly, even confident people feel nervous sometimes.
Exactly. The difference is that they continue anyway.
That's such an important idea.
And before we begin, we want to thank everyone listening to Chill English Channel.
Yes, thank you so much for being here with us. If you enjoy these conversations, please subscribe, like the episode, and share it with your friends learning English.
Your support helps us continue creating calm and meaningful English lessons for all of you.
Exactly. So, Jake, what does confidence mean to you personally?
Honestly, I think confidence is trust.
Trust in what?
Trust in yourself. Not trust that everything will go perfectly, but trust that you can handle uncomfortable moments.
Wow, that already feels deeper than most confidence advice online.
Maybe because real confidence usually grows in uncomfortable places.
That's true. I think many people wait for confidence before they take action.
Yes, but life usually works the opposite way.
Exactly. People act first, feel awkward for a while, survive the moment, and slowly become more confident afterward.
That feels much more realistic than waiting to magically feel brave one day.
Definitely.
You know what's interesting, though?
What?
A lot of people misunderstand nervousness.
In what way?
They think nervousness automatically means weakness.
Ah, yes.
But sometimes nervousness simply means something matters to you.
That's such a good point.
For example, interviews can feel nerve-wracking because people care deeply about the result.
Nerve-wracking is a great expression.
Definitely. If something is nerve-wracking, it makes you feel tense or anxious.
Like public speaking.
Or speaking English with native speakers for the first time.
Or confessing feelings to someone you like.
Possibly one of the most nerve-wracking experiences in existence.
Honestly, yes.
And here's the important part. Confidence is often built inside those uncomfortable moments.
Not outside them.
Exactly. If you avoid every uncomfortable situation, your confidence never gets stronger.
That's uncomfortable to hear, but true.
It is. You cannot become confident speaking if you constantly avoid speaking.
And you cannot become socially confident if you always hide from social situations.
Exactly. I think avoidance feels safe at first.
Yes, temporarily safe.
But over time, avoidance can quietly damage self-confidence.
Because every avoided situation teaches the brain something. This situation must be dangerous.
Exactly.
That reminds me of something important, self-trust.
Oh, self-trust matters so much.
Can you explain it?
Sure. Self-trust grows when your actions and words begin matching each other.
Meaning?
If you tell yourself, tomorrow I'll practice English, and then you actually do it, your brain notices.
So small promises matter.
Very much.
But if someone constantly breaks promises to themselves,
Their self-trust slowly weakens.
that's honestly very true.
Confidence is deeply connected to follow-through.
Great expression.
Follow-through means completing what you said you would do.
Not just planning it.
Exactly. Action matters more than intention.
I think many people confuse motivation with confidence too.
Absolutely.
People think confidence should feel exciting and powerful all the time.
But real confidence is often quiet,
Calm,
steady.
not dramatic.
Exactly. You know what I've noticed?
What?
Sometimes people who appear extremely confident are actually overcompensating.
That's such an important word. Can you explain it simply?
To overcompensate means trying too hard to appear strong because you secretly feel insecure underneath.
So, loud confidence is not always real confidence.
Exactly. Sometimes loudness is fear wearing expensive clothes. That sentence is amazing.
But true. I think real confidence feels more grounded somehow.
Yes, deep confidence usually feels calmer and less performative.
And I think confident people are not necessarily fearless.
Definitely not.
They just stop treating fear like an emergency.
Wow, that's powerful.
Because fear itself is normal.
Exactly. The problem is not fear. The problem is when fear controls every decision.
That's when self-sabotage begins.
Another very important expression.
Self-sabotage means damaging your own growth through fear or negative habits, right?
Exactly.
Like avoiding opportunities.
Or staying silent even when you have something meaningful to say.
Or waiting for perfection before trying anything.
Perfectionism can become a very elegant form of fear, honestly.
That sentence deserves silence for a moment.
Because it's true.
Very true.
If everything must be perfect before you begin, you may never begin at all.
And confidence cannot grow inside avoidance.
Exactly.
Now, listeners, notice something important here. Confidence is not fixed.
Yes, confidence changes depending on the situation.
Someone may feel confident at work but nervous socially.
Or confident in their native language but shy speaking English.
That's such an important reminder because many people label themselves too quickly.
Exactly. They say, I'm not a confident person.
As if confidence is a permanent personality type.
But a healthier sentence is, I'm still building confidence in this area.
That small difference changes everything psychologically.
It really does, because it leaves room for growth.
And honestly, growth usually feels awkward for a while.
Definitely.
People often expect confidence to arrive before discomfort disappears.
But real confidence often grows while discomfort is still present.
That feels much more honest.
It is honest.
And honestly, I think confidence also affects the body physically.
Absolutely.
The way people breathe.
Their posture.
Their voice.
Their speed of speech.
Sometimes nervous people rush their words because silence feels uncomfortable.
Exactly, but calm pauses can communicate composure.
Great word.
Composure means calm control during stressful situations.
A composed person may still feel nervous internally.
But they don't completely collapse into panic.
That's such an important distinction.
Definitely. Confidence does not mean emotionless.
It means steady enough to continue.
Exactly.
And I think one of the biggest problems today is overthinking afterward.
Oh, yes, rumination.
Another important word.
Rumination means replaying negative thoughts or embarrassing moments repeatedly in your mind.
Like replaying one awkward sentence for 3 hours afterward.
Exactly. Your brain becomes a tiny emotional cinema.
Directed by anxiety.
With dramatic music and terrible reviews.
That's painfully accurate.
And the problem is that rumination makes small mistakes feel enormous.
Even when other people barely notice them.
Exactly. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves anyway.
That's strangely comforting, honestly.
It really is.
So maybe confidence is not about becoming perfect.
No, maybe confidence is learning that awkward moments will not destroy you.
That feels strangely comforting.
Because many people treat every uncomfortable moment like emotional proof that something is wrong with them.
Especially highly self-aware people.
Yes, self-aware people often notice every tiny mistake.
Sometimes too much.
Definitely. They replay conversations repeatedly and analyze every detail.
Like, why did I say that? Or why did I sound awkward there?
Exactly.
I think many English learners experience this after conversations.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes they speak English successfully for 10 minutes.
But afterward, they only remember one small grammar mistake.
That's such a human thing, honestly.
It really is. Our brains naturally focus on mistakes more than successes.
So confidence also requires balance.
Yes, reflection is healthy, but obsession is exhausting.
That's a powerful distinction.
Confident people still reflect on mistakes.
But they don't build their entire identity around one awkward moment.
Exactly.
You know what else affects confidence a lot?
What?
Comparison.
Oh, yes. Comparison can destroy confidence very quickly.
Especially now with social media.
Definitely. People compare their real lives to other people's edited highlights.
That's such an unhealthy psychological environment.
It really is.
Sometimes someone watches a confident speaker online and immediately thinks, I could never speak like that.
Without realizing how many years of practice that person probably has.
Exactly.
People often compare their beginning to somebody else's middle.
Wow, that sentence is really important.
Because it's true.
Confidence usually has a long history behind it.
Yes, many confident people were once extremely nervous beginners too.
But people only see the current version.
Exactly.
I think confidence is deeply connected to repetition.
Absolutely.
The first time usually feels uncomfortable.
The second time still feels awkward.
But eventually, the nervous system slowly adapts.
Exactly. Repetition teaches the brain that the situation is survivable.
That's such a calming way to think about it.
Because confidence often grows quietly.
Not dramatically.
Right. Sometimes confidence grows so slowly that people don't notice it immediately.
Until one day they realize something surprising.
Like what?
A situation that once terrified them now feels manageable.
That's one of the best feelings, honestly.
Definitely.
You know what I find interesting now?
What?
People often think confidence means becoming louder.
That's true.
But quiet people can be deeply confident too.
Absolutely.
Confidence is not volume.
That sentence deserves attention.
Because some of the most confident people speak calmly and quietly.
They don't need constant attention.
Exactly. Deep confidence often feels secure rather than performative.
And insecure people sometimes try harder to impress others.
Yes, insecurity can become very noisy.
While confidence often feels grounded and relaxed.
Exactly.
I think body language matters here too.
Definitely.
Before people even speak, their body is already communicating something.
Posture matters a lot.
Breathing too.
And eye contact.
Sometimes nervous people physically shrink themselves.
Yes, they lower their voice, avoid eye contact, or rush through sentences.
As if they're apologizing for existing.
Wow, that's sadly accurate sometimes.
I think many people don't realize how often they abandon themselves physically in uncomfortable moments.
That's such an important observation.
Because confidence is not only mental.
Exactly. The body influences the mind, too.
For example, slow breathing can completely change emotional intensity.
Absolutely. A calm breath can interrupt panic surprisingly quickly.
And pauses can feel powerful too.
Definitely. Calm pauses communicate composure.
Instead of panic.
Exactly.
I used to think confident people always had perfect words immediately ready.
Honestly, same when I was younger.
But now I think confidence often means allowing yourself time to think.
That's such an important realization.
Because nervous people often rush.
Yes, silence feels dangerous to them.
But calm people understand that pauses are normal.
Exactly. A pause does not automatically mean weakness.
Sometimes pauses make communication stronger.
Definitely.
You know what else damages confidence?
What?
Harsh self-talk.
Oh, yes, that's a huge one.
Some people speak to themselves more cruelly than they would ever speak to another person.
Exactly.
Imagine making one small mistake and immediately thinking, I'm terrible, or I'm so embarrassing.
That kind of internal language slowly damages confidence over time.
Especially repeated every day.
Yes, repetition matters psychologically.
I think many people underestimate how powerful inner language is.
Definitely. Your mind listens to your voice constantly.
That's honestly a little scary.
It is, which is why editing your language matters.
What do you mean by editing your language?
Removing unnecessary shrinking phrases.
Can you give examples?
Sure, instead of saying, sorry, this might sound stupid.
You can simply ask the question.
Exactly.
Or instead of saying, "This is probably a bad idea,"
You can say, "Here's my idea."
that difference feels small but powerful.
Because language shapes emotional energy.
I think many insecure people apologize too much.
Definitely.
Sometimes they apologize for existing, taking space, or having opinions.
Exactly. But confidence often begins when people stop shrinking their own voice.
Not becoming arrogant,
No, not arrogance.
just clearer and steadier.
Exactly.
And honestly, confidence also changes relationships.
Very much.
Insecure people sometimes tolerate unhealthy treatment because they fear losing people,
That's sadly true.
while healthier confidence creates stronger boundaries.
Yes, confident people understand that being disliked sometimes is survivable.
That's a huge emotional shift,
Definitely.
because many people spend years trying to avoid disappointing everyone.
Which is impossible, honestly.
Exactly. You cannot make every person happy all the time.
And trying to do that usually destroys inner peace.
I think confidence is also connected to acceptance somehow.
What kind of acceptance?
Accepting that awkward moments, mistakes, rejection, and criticism are normal parts of life.
That's deeply true.
Because many people secretly expect confidence to remove discomfort completely.
But life will always contain uncomfortable moments.
Exactly.
Confidence simply changes your relationship with those moments.
Instead of collapsing emotionally every time something awkward happens,
You recover faster.
that recovery matters more than perfection, honestly.
Absolutely.
I think one of the strongest forms of confidence is emotional resilience,
Beautiful phrase.
meaning the ability to emotionally recover after difficult experiences,
Exactly.
not becoming emotionally destroyed by every uncomfortable situation.
Right.
You know what's comforting, though?
What?
Nobody feels confident all the time.
Not even close.
Even experienced speakers still get nervous sometimes.
Absolutely. Confidence is not permanent emotional perfection.
It's more like emotional steadiness during uncertainty.
That's beautifully said.
And honestly, I think people become stronger when they stop trying to eliminate fear completely.
Yes, fear is human.
The goal is not becoming fearless.
The goal is becoming brave enough to continue anyway.
That feels much more realistic and compassionate.
Exactly.
And I think this connects perfectly to something practical.
You mean methods people can actually use.
Exactly, because ideas are important, but people also need tools they can practice in daily life. So today, let's share a simple confidence method people can practice in real life.
Perfect. Let's make it practical.
Okay, the first step is expose.
Expose sounds dramatic,
A little.
but it's actually simple. Expose means gently entering situations you normally avoid.
Not overwhelming yourself.
Exactly. Small discomfort, not emotional destruction.
For example, asking one question during class.
Or making one phone call you've been avoiding.
Or speaking English for 5 minutes even if you feel nervous.
Exactly. Confidence grows when avoidance slowly decreases.
I think people underestimate how powerful small actions are.
Definitely. Tiny repeated actions change identity over time.
Okay, what's the second step?
Evidence.
I love that one.
Because confidence grows from proof, not imagination.
Can you explain that more?
Sure, your brain remembers mistakes very loudly.
Unfortunately true.
So you must intentionally collect evidence of progress too.
Like writing down small wins?
Exactly.
For example, today I spoke English even though I felt nervous.
Or today I asked a question instead of staying silent.
Those moments matter.
Very much.
Because confidence is built from repeated proof that you can handle difficult situations.
Exactly.
Okay, third step.
Edit.
Edit your thinking?
And your language.
Ah, that's important.
Because insecure language slowly shapes insecure feelings.
Like constantly saying, sorry, this is probably stupid.
Exactly.
Or, I know nobody cares what I think.
Right. Those phrases weaken your voice before you even finish speaking.
So instead of shrinking language,
Use clearer language.
for example, I have a question.
Or, here's my opinion.
Simple but strong.
Exactly.
Okay, what's the fourth step?
Embody.
Meaning confidence through the body?
Yes. Before words even appear, your body is already communicating something.
Posture matters?
Breathing matters.
Eye contact matters.
And slowing down matters too.
That's huge, honestly.
Because nervous people often rush everything.
Their words, movements, breathing.
Exactly. But calm physical signals help the mind settle too.
So confidence is not only psychological.
No, the body and mind constantly influence each other.
Sometimes one slow breath can completely change emotional intensity.
Absolutely.
And the final step?
Exit.
Exit what exactly?
The mental loop.
Ah, rumination.
Exactly.
That emotional replay system many people know too well.
Unfortunately, yes.
So how do people exit the loop?
Instead of asking, why am I like this, ask, what can I learn from this?
That feels much healthier.
Because one question attacks your identity.
And the other question creates growth.
Exactly.
I think many people treat every weakness like permanent proof about themselves.
Yes, but confidence grows when people stop turning temporary struggles into permanent identities.
That reminds me of one small word that changes everything psychologically.
Yet.
Exactly.
Yet, I'm not confident yet.
Yet, I can't speak comfortably yet.
Yet, I'm still learning confidence in this area.
That word keeps growth possible.
Exactly. Yet leaves the door open.
And honestly, I think that's one of the healthiest ways to view confidence.
Definitely.
Not as a fixed personality trait.
But as a skill that grows through practice.
Even awkward practice.
Especially awkward practice.
Very true.
Now, before we finish today's episode, let's review some important vocabulary we used.
Great idea.
First, nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking means something stressful or anxiety-producing.
For example, public speaking feels nerve-wracking for many people.
Next, follow-through.
Follow-through means completing what you said you would do.
For example, small acts of follow-through slowly build self-trust.
Next, overcompensate.
To overcompensate means trying too hard to hide insecurity.
For example, some people overcompensate by acting overly confident.
Next, composure.
Composure means calm control during stressful moments.
For example, she stayed calm and kept her composure during the interview.
And finally, rumination.
Rumination means repeatedly replaying negative thoughts or embarrassing moments in your mind.
For example, rumination made him replay the conversation all night.
You know, Jake, I think this has been one of our deepest conversations so far.
I think so too.
Because confidence affects almost every area of life.
Relationships,
Communication,
work,
learning.
even identity.
And honestly, I hope listeners understand something important after today's episode.
What's that?
Confidence does not belong only to naturally fearless people.
Beautifully said.
Most confidence is slowly built through uncomfortable moments, repeated effort, and self-trust.
Exactly.
And if you don't feel confident today,
That does not mean you'll feel this way forever.
growth often looks awkward while it's happening.
Very true.
Before we finish, let's give listeners today's question.
Good idea.
What is one small thing that helps you feel more confident?
Maybe practicing, preparation, breathing, exercise, or supportive friends.
We'd love to read your answers in the comments.
Definitely.
And remember, confidence is not becoming perfect.
It's learning that you can handle imperfect moments too.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today on Chill English Channel.
Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share this episode with your friends learning English.
Take care of your English.
And take care of yourself too.
Bye, everyone.
See you next time.